Good morning. Go ahead, make your way to your mat. Go ahead and take a moment to find a seat on your mat. Choosing your cross-legged position. Gonna dive deeply into some hips today. But first, taking that time to connect into this present moment through your breath. So sitting up nice and straight, drawing that crown of your head up towards the sky, your shoulders drop down away from your ears. Your hips rest heavily against the mat. Just allowing your knees to fall open. Everything opening through gravity, but from the base of your spine, from the deep core, drawing that belly button up and in, growing tall through the spine as you extend up, up, up. You're working all the muscles of your posture here, gently drawing your shoulder blades together on your back as your shoulders drop down away from your ears. And as we breathe here, in this pretty active seated position, go ahead and draw that air deep down into the belly. Filling up, up, up through the rib cage, through the chest. And exhale, chest, rib cage, belly. And again, belly, rib cage, chest. Pause, chest, rib cage, belly. So the biggest portion of air is going to go all the way down into your lower lungs, the Q, the belly, and then a little bit less than that is going to go into the ribs, and then just a very small amount is going to make its way up into the chest. So let's go for a few more rounds. Exhale wherever you're at. Inhale, belly, rib cage, chest. Pause, chest. Exhale, rib cage. Exhale, belly. Squeeze it all up. Turn around, belly, rib cage, chest. Pause, rib cage, chest, rib cage, belly. Squeeze it all out. One more time, belly, rib cage, chest. Pause. Exhale, chest, rib cage, belly. Squeeze it all out. Return to a natural breath. Inhaling and exhaling through the nose. allowing your eyes to open. Go ahead and begin to walk your hands gently forward, coming into that forward fold. Let's start with a nice straight spine. So start by drawing that chest forward. Deep breaths here. And then releasing through the head and neck. Forehead goes towards the floor. On your next inhale, beginning to press up all the way through center. Switch the cross of those legs. Inhale once again, nice straight spine. As you walk forward. Leading with the chest for the first few breaths. Extending out through the crown of the head. Just keep thinking nice long spine. And releasing head and neck. On your next inhale, pressing up. Go ahead and grab onto the outside edges of your knees. Exhale, rounding the spine back, tucking that belly button up and in, drawing the chin in. Inhale, drawing that chest forward. Nice back bend. Exhale back. Inhale forward. Exhale back. One more time forward. And as we go back, we're just going to begin a nice circle through the rib cage, through the hips, taking your time. Seeing if you can begin to open up through the spine, finding movement between each vertebra. And as you come forward, begin to switch directions. On that next inhale, go ahead and uncross those legs, spreading them nice and wide. Big toes point up towards the sky. Take your hands and roll those thighs in. As you roll the thigh in, also kind of pull some flesh out from behind the sit bones. So tilting that pelvic floor forward. Inhaling, extending with a nice straight spine. Exhale, walking forward. Find that nice stretch in the inner thighs, in through the groin here. Maybe you start to make your way towards your elbows. Maybe you're not quite there yet this morning. But finding that place where you can get some stretch and breathe deeply. Your next inhale, pressing up, grabbing behind the knees. Draw those heels in some, feet still wide. Placing those hands behind your back for some support. And beginning to drop the knees to one side and then the other. You're gently encouraging them towards the ground. You hopefully feel a nice opening in the hip sockets. Just a couple more times. And up through center. Go ahead and bring that left foot across to the right side, right foot over. Sole of the foot comes to the mat. Hugging that knee, supporting behind you with that right arm. Go ahead and if you're tilting, see if you can drop that right hip back down to the mat. Go ahead, inhale, lengthen here, and on an exhale, deepening into the twist. And release to center, switching across. Left foot comes over, left hip comes back to the mat. And from there, giving it a nice hug, kickstand with that left hand. Finding that nice straight spine before you deepen into the twist. Exhale, release. As you untwist, go ahead and make your way onto your hands and knees. Spreading those fingers nice and wide. Go ahead and stack those wrists under shoulders, tucking those back toes under, hips up and back, down dog. Taking a moment here to roll those armpits in towards the ears, bending the knees deeply, shifting those hips up and back before beginning to press the heels towards the mat. Inhale that right foot up, three-legged dog. Exhale, bending the knee, curling under and stepping through. Let's go ahead and drop that back knee right to the mat. Pressing the hips towards the earth. Double check that your big toe is pointing straight forward. And then coming up, hands to hips. see that both hips, the front of both hip joints, the points, the little bones in the front of your hip, are pointing straight towards the front of your mat. If your knee is falling out, draw that back in to center. And keep allowing those hips to drop towards the earth. If you want to add on, inhale, arms up. Exhale, opening into cactus arms. Anjaneyasana. Keep working through those hips. Keep pressing them down towards the mat. Keep drawing that knee in towards center line. Breathing. Inhale, arms back up. Exhale, placing them to the mat. Beginning to shift those hips back. You're going to come towards Hanuman. This is the one where I tend to need to slide my heel forward to keep my hip lined over my knee. Do so if you need to. And if you have your blocks handy, you might use them here to get that nice straight spine. Otherwise, fingertips to the floor. You may still have a micro bend in that knee. We're working it towards straight. Toes pointing up towards the sky and breathing into the back of the leg here. This is a pretty deep hamstring opener. You probably feel it pretty strongly. We're just breathing here for a minute. These are some of our bigger muscle groups, so allowing them a little bit more time to open up is where we really get into the good stuff. Keep working towards straightening that leg. Relaxing through the face and jaw. And then keep scooting it forward. We're going to play for a minute here. This is coming towards full splits. Of course, I don't expect anyone to be there today unless they've already had a practice. As you can see, I'm barely getting back into mine, but just keep drawing that leg forward. You probably felt the stretch change to a little bit different spot in the legs. Keep pointing those toes up towards the sky. Keep breathing here. And then you're going to begin to draw that heel back. And it's probably going to take a couple times. Keep shifting pretty much till your hips are past your knee. Then you can bend back and forward into the front knee, placing your hands, tucking your back toes under, and shifting the hips up to release that front foot, down dog. I want to take one pose in between this and the next side. So go ahead, come down to your knees together, heels together, shifting the hips back. You're going to reach back and grab your heels as your forehead comes to the floor. Then you're going to begin to press your hips up, rounding through the spine, breathing in between the shoulder blades there. And releasing the hips down, releasing the hands, forward. Inhaling back onto your hands and knees, tucking those toes, hips go up and back, Adho Mukha Svanasana, down dog. Inhale that left leg up now, exhale, bend and crunch, stepping it through, back knee comes to the mat. Go ahead and double check that front foot, big toe is pointing straight ahead, dropping those hips down. Your hands come to your hips. Shining those pelvic bones forward, drawing that knee in. Inhale, arms up. Exhale, open into cactus. If you're taking this version today, breathing here. Inhale, arms back up. Exhale, place hands. Maybe you have your blocks for Hanuman Asana. Maybe you just bring your hands to the mat. Option, if needed, to shimmy that foot forward. Again, big toe points up towards the sky, working towards straightening that front leg. Peek down at your hips. Is one falling out to one side? If it is, especially if the right one is curving out, draw that back in. A few more deep breaths here as you relax through the face and jaw. Go ahead and begin to slide that foot forward. Coming a little deeper. Coming towards our full splits. Checking those toes again. They're pointing up towards the sky. Keep pressing that front thigh towards the mat. On your next inhale, beginning to pull that heel back. Back until your hips are back past the knee. And then bending forward into that front knee to place the hands. Tuck those back toes under. Hips up and back, down dog. This time, big toes together. Knees wide. Regular extended child's pose. Digging a little deeper into the hips. Go ahead and inhale forward onto the hands and knees, tucking those back toes under. Up and back, Adho Mukha Svanasana. Inhale that right foot up. We're coming into pigeon. Exhale, placing that shin on the mat. If you've been working with it, maybe you keep working a little bit more towards parallel to the front of your mat. Take a peek back. Is that back leg tracking straight behind you? If you are coming towards parallel, flex that front foot. If you're angling pretty deeply back, it's okay to point the toes back. From here, pressing both hips towards the mat. Maybe you make it down onto your elbows. Maybe all the way onto your forehead. On your next inhale, if you came down, beginning to press back up onto your hands. You're going to tuck those back toes under, pressing the hips up and back to release. Adho Mukha Savasana. Walk the dog out, bending one knee, then the other. And then inhale that left foot up, three-legged dog. Exhale, placing through. Shin comes to the mat. Take that peek back at that back leg. Is it tracking straight behind? And then working towards getting both pelvic points pressing towards the mat. Maybe you place a hand on your back to see if one side or the other is dipping down. Getting that evened out. Maybe you stay up on your hands. Maybe you come down onto your elbows. Maybe you come down onto your forehead. On your next inhale, pressing back up. From those hands, tucking those back toes under. Releasing that front foot. One more time into child's. Closed kneed or wide kneed, yogi's choice. Pressing those hips back. Inhaling back forward onto your hands and knees and making your way to seated. Before we come down into our last few round poses, I figure let's do kind of our deep hips instead of first thing when we sit down on the mat, once we've warmed up a little bit. So going towards the Agni Stambhasana or fire log pose. This is the stacking the shin ones. So either option to take your knee out forward from your thigh and just taking a cross of shins where they're basically parallel to the front of the mat, but they're not stacked. So you may fold forward from here and get a nice stretch in the back of the hip there. We're going to do both sides. Or if you're feeling more up and want to give it a shot, stacking those shins. Better if you have a block or pillow, depending on how big that space is to put in between the shins, just so your knees not floating. Either way, once you've picked your leg position, from there we're going to begin to fold forward. On your next inhale, pressing back up to seated, switching that across, taking the time with the hips. These are deep stretches, nice and slow. And taking the same version that you took for the first side on the other side. Once you found that position, beginning to walk your hands forward, finding a little fold here, still relaxing through the face and the jaw and the forehead. Still breathing here. The deeper, the better. On your next inhale, pressing back up to center. Releasing the block if you used it. Releasing your legs, drawing them out long, giving the knees a little bounce. And go ahead and swivel onto your mat, making your way one vertebra at a time, all the way down onto your back. And go ahead and cross that left leg over the right. Inhale that leg up and choosing your hold. Seeing if we can find, for one more moment, any nice last little pockets of tension in the hip joint that we can release right here, right now on the mat. So drawing into that, keep drawing that knee in. Maybe you even press gently out with the elbow. But find that last nugget for release today. I know it may not be all of it, but at least a little bit more. And exhale, release. Right leg comes over, drawing that left leg up again. We're exploring, we're searching, we're digging for that final little point of tension that we can let go of right here, right now. Just one more little bit. And release. One last switch of the cross. This time dropping both knees over to the right. Maybe you straighten out that left leg today. Maybe you keep it bent. Yogi's choice. Maybe you open that left arm out, straight out to the left. Maybe you take a cactus arm and bend at the elbow. Maybe you gaze back over that left shoulder. If you straighten that left leg, go ahead and bend it again, connecting with the right. Inhale, both knees up to switch that cross. Dropping both knees over towards the left. Maybe you straighten that right leg out towards the right. Maybe you lengthen that left arm straight out. Sorry, right arm straight out. Maybe you bend and take a cactus arm. Maybe you gaze out over that right shoulder. Breathing into this nice supine twist. And go ahead, if you took a straight right leg, bend it, meeting the left. Coming back up through center before drawing those legs out, nice and long. Go ahead and take a moment to find that center spot in the lower back and hips, where each hip, as much as you can, is pressed evenly into the mat. So find that even weight, even pressure. Maybe lift up your upper back just a tiny bit, squeeze those shoulder blades together. Opening the chest, opening the arms out to the side, palms up. Relaxing through the belly. Relaxing through the head and neck. Feeling completely supported by your mat, by the ground, by the earth. Just dropping in to a few deep breaths here. Just allowing a few moments for your practice to really settle in before you have to get up and rush off to the next thing. Just a moment or two more to be present. feel your fingers and toes, bringing awareness back into the body. Taking one deeper breath in and exhale through the mouth. One more in through the nose and out through the mouth. Bringing the soles of your feet to the mat, bending at the knees. And as you do that, take a moment to roll yourself onto your side. A delicious breath or two in fetal position. From there, go ahead and press yourself up, coming into seated meeting where we did at the beginning of class. Taking the last moment here to close your eyes once more. Just feel into your hips. Still drawing the crown of that head up, feeling into your spine. How does it feel in comparison to the pose, the same pose you took at the very beginning of class? Just bringing some awareness into that. Bringing your hands to heart center, thanking your body, thanking your mind for showing up to your practice, to your mat. Namaste.